I have cited or I have been commencing with the historical and contemporary perspectives that we all together have to deliberate for its effective usage. If we talk about the post-independence era, it was hardly 1.5 schools in India, and that was even in the excess of only rich and the affluent class of the society. But today, we have 16 lakhs plus schools in 2018. The data is taken from the website of the MHRD. And we are one of the largest school education system in the world with the enrollment of 250 million plus students. Imagine this number. Then let's quickly go to the college. 500 colleges in 1947. Today we have 40,000 plus colleges in 2018. We are the third largest in the world with the enrollment of 20 million students in the higher education, that is after 10 plus or 12 plus. And if we talk about the university, which takes as the upper stand, it was on 1950 only 20 universities, and that too was accessible to only the prince or the princess or the rich class of the society. But today the rise is 40 times by almost 800 plus universities. And why this data matters a lot to you and to I both is we are in the country of 1.4 billion, where the academic infrastructure that we all are witnessing across the country is very, very minimal, I would say. Because population growth, we are next to China. But when we talk about the academic setup and when we are talking about the digitalization, it's altogether a new setup that we all have to work on. It invites a huge investment from the school, from the college, or from the government. And that growth is hardly minimal. And quality education definition is also wonderful, and it contradicts itself with the three words in particular: inclusive. No one should be out of this loop of the quality education. You all agree to, isn't it? At the same time, equitable. Everyone should get the fair education, no bias of caste, color, and creed. That is equitable. At the same time, lifelong learning. What Amit ji said. But today, we have more or less still the rote method of learning or a teaching, and students don't turn up. It's a matter of great regret. In our 10th, 11th, 12th standard, we have removed the labs from the class. We all talking about the digital education, but still it's all about NEET or it's all about JEE, it's all about advanced JEE. We all will forget this after this beautiful session. So let's understand this juxtaposition that the quality statement itself has created. And I personally believe, and what we all agree with, education is all about creative expression. And what Albert Einstein has beautifully said, creativity is contagious, pass it too. Do we really pass the creativity in the class as a teacher or the students in particular in the class too? And these two examples are also wonderful. Curb creative expression. Academics is all about creativity. But have we not curbed the creativity of our own kids in the home itself? And that is the biggest atrocity that we can talk about. And we are equally responsible. I am also part of the teaching fraternity, as Amit ji is too. Sometimes we also cut the creativity of the kids in the class. Let's take another example. We have been talking about digital education, and you all agree that in India, this digitalization landscape is only the privileged benefit of hardly 10 to 15% of the schools in India, or the kids who are rich can go to this type of the digital network. So on this evening that we are gathered here, let's look at a better picture that government invests a lot and this technology gets slightly cheaper so that every child of our country which lives more in the villages gets the benefit of the best education. This is the same example which Amit ji cited. What is the education system in our country? We have a different, sir talked about the various learners, heterogeneous learners in the class. Every kid has a different learning needs. We have a different type of the students here in this beautiful cartoon. Monkey is there, penguin is there, elephant is there. And unfortunately, teacher is saying, please climb the tree if you want to pass the exam. That is unfortunately still the dark reality after 72 years of the independence of our country. And the grades are congratulated, but at the same time, we have created the windows or the doors of unemployment open. And every year, 16, 17, 18, we are adding the different doors. Inadequate budget, if we talk about, it's a matter of great pleasure that Delhi government has increased its budget of education to somewhere around 25 to 26%, whereas in the rest of the state, it is hardly around 6 to 7%. That is the inadequate budget. RTE, weak implementation of RTE. There is a huge gap. Students or the parents are chasing the school, but the school is withdrawing its hands from the giving admissions to the students. Economics of the school. Let's see the profit, or it's really we want to benefit the society as a whole. Altruism is probably out of this motive, and today education is one of the largest industries, as is cited by UNESCO in 2017 report. And ultimately we want to churn the profit. But this is the actual situation and the first framework. And the second framework, the hope is still there. There is a hope in everything that we can think of. Because today, after 72 years, India has a competitive advantage because we are today the stable country, stable institutions, and largest democracy. And today, we are the land of opportunity. Previously, it was the USA or the Western countries were the land of opportunity. Today, it's we, the India, is the land of the opportunity. And this is the framework which I want to touch upon, which was previously being touched by the opening speaker, digital opportunities in education. And it's a promise of connectivity, because they want to create a loop where no one should leave this scope. A way ahead, scope and feasibility. Let's look at the budgetary provision of our country. Budget of rupees 80,000 crore in 2018, which was a rise of 10% compared to the financial year 17. And half of this budget would be spent on the digital academic infrastructure by our government. And tomorrow, Narendra Modi's address is on the digital innovations and how this digitalization can help the country. Increase in the budget by 30% in academics by 2020. E-learning market in India is almost $3 billion US. And today we have an increase in the innovations in the educational technology, augmented accessibility of the internet. Today almost internet has reached, or a phone has reached to every area or every rural area of our country. Ease of education beyond the classroom. I cited example of the de-schooling. There are a lot of websites available today. They all talk about the digitalization or the de-schooling, and support of a lot of philanthropic organizations that want to reach to each and every corner. Sir has very quickly talked about virtual reality, augmented reality, but at the same time there is a merged reality. I have a beautiful video, if the time permits, madam. So this is how the transformative learning can indeed brought in, wherein we can provide the real life or real situation or virtual reality or augmented reality, or sometimes as per the needs we can blend both merged reality too. The next, redesign learning space, because we have always seen the typical classroom where the floor is not cleaned properly, the desk, all the desks are in a row with the blackboard or a green board or a whiteboard facing, but we have never thought of such type of the learning spaces where any kid feels to come in. And that day has already come. I have visited quite a few schools and colleges across the globe where we can see almost it's a home away from home, where there are collaborative and friendly spaces, which is always the learner-centric. And the way you proceed in your class, the smartness of the class, which is connected through the artificial intelligence, will also get through. Students visualize, create the virtual field trips in their class. Sir has also talked about personalized learning, which is one of the most prominent concept today when we talk about the digital education. Everyone cannot be the quick or a quick learner. So this personalized learning has always created a wonder. All the students differing their needs. It's a choice, varied strategy, flexible pacing, just in time. Whenever you want to study, you can get the access to. Positive impacts of the gaming. Sir has talked about the gamification. Will not take much, but these games that the teacher explores or the students take in the class must have a words of the caution. It should not be an addiction, because the biggest threat in this digitalization education is a threat of getting distracted. So the games must be very, very cautiously designed to be given to the students in the class so that it can give a comprehensive benefit of motivation, cognitive development, social skills, and emotional skills. Sir has also talked about data analytics, and the best example to cite of the data analytics, it's in one of the tehsils or a taluka place, there was a constant drop down of the girl student ratio in the school. So they got the support of one of these data analytics agency. I'm talking about the Karnataka and one of the tehsils of the Bangalore. And they analyzed a lot and come to certain conclusion. And the conclusion was creating certain basic health and hygienic facilities for the girl students. And then they started constructing the washrooms, which can provide them certain privacy with the girls' common room. And suddenly, over the another few months, the dropout ratio has decreased and the new admissions started. So if we have a lot of UG and PG programs today available on exclusively data analytics, because data analytics is closely related with the Internet of Things and the artificial intelligence. I'll skip. This is what I was talking about. I am from Atmiya. We have created a pen title which is being patented recently, a pen that can read. Because blind people can never read the way we are reading. And their books are in a braille procedure, and it takes a lot of amount or expenditure is required to be incurred when we want all the books to be converted into that methodology. So we devise a pen with the micro sensors which is being kept on the pages of the book, and there a earphone is being provided. So the way the pen is being moved, the person who is blind can listen to the entire text. So this is one example. At the same time, we can take up the example of the smart electric grid, which is a project to be given to the students in the school and in the colleges, where even the chief minister sitting in his office can understand the number of the units of the power getting into the home, provided it has a smart village and connected with all these things. This is also a wonderful video. It's all about the cyber school which I visited in the Tokyo. It is not exactly the same, but I have taken it from the YouTube. Weather is talked about, the parents can monitor the movement of the bus, the reaching time of the kids. It's not just a visualization, there are real schools available, but this requires a lot of amount of investment when the entire school is required to be connected with IoT. I stop here. So, a way ahead, words of caution, because this is a beautiful rosy picture that I have created, and today or tomorrow we have to accept the trends of the digital education, because the world is moving at a faster pace. But there are certain words of the caution for all the stakeholders, for the teachers, students, parents, or the administrator, chances of distraction. So we have to ensure all together that that can be avoided. Selection of the content, what is to be given, otherwise what happening, we are simply copying certain things and creating it as a digital format. That is not the right format to talk about. Reduce social interactions and emotions today, weak interpersonal communicative skills, invasion of the privacy if we have not provided a security loop, no or less inculcation of the values. We can cite couple of examples where values have got deteriorated with this digitalization. Increased rate of cyberbullying, and today it is one of the greatest threats in the academic system. Filling of digital vacuum, this is the new term that we all can think over. Digital vacuum, has been created in the kids, isolation and lot of health hazards, reduced multi-sensorial skill or the activities. But there are certain desirables which can definitely help us to reduce this gap. Demographic divide, digital education must be for all, not only for the privileged few in any of the cities. It must reach to each and every remote corner of our country. Strategic policies are required to be adopted so that the complete digital infrastructure can be created. We can devise the right pedagogical tools so that content can reach to each and every student. Teachers' preparation and training is very important, because today we have a teacher-student ratio. We do not have teachers in our academic setup, and we are talking about altogether a new system where we need a trained and the competent teacher. Customized content preparation, adaptability to rapidly changing technology, realistic usage of the data, incessant IT support so that security of the data of the school and the kids and the parents can be maintained. And we have been talking about liberalization, globalization, and today we all are talking about the buzzword digitalization, which is altogether changing the education in India and is likely to change the education in India. And it is proliferating rapidly, which is unstoppable. How we can be part of this, it's all up to us, so that we can maintain the life, economy, society, and its culture. With this, I end my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Alpesh, for delivering such wonderful speech. Now, I would like to call upon stage Dr. Vinny Johari, Director, Microsoft in Education, to talk on building skills and readiness for the future.
To all of you, it's such a pleasure to be here amongst all of you, and so many of you have traveled from so far to be with us here today. So we really appreciate your thoughtfulness and taking time to be with us here. Over the next 15 to 20 minutes, I'll share some perspectives of how we can transform education by partnering together between the academia, industry, and the government. Wherever in the world we have seen outstanding innovation, the ecosystems, whether it was Japan, whether it's Korea, whether it's the other countries, Israel, for example, or Europe, we have seen close collaboration between industry, academia, and government. And each of them bring about some very distinct abilities. So I'll share some thoughts on how we can build skills and readiness for the future, whether it's at the school level or whether it's in the higher education space or the skilling space.
The same way for 100 years. Students get a cadaver, then they look at medical illustrations, and it's completely two-dimensional, and the human body isn't.
Microsoft HoloLens is a holographic computer that you wear. It enables you to bring your digital world into your real world.
At Case Western Reserve University, we are focused on solving problems and creating new knowledge.
My job is to teach, and I really think this could impact almost everything that we teach people. With HoloLens, you can see the muscles on top of the skeleton all at the same time. You can bring them in and out and exactly understand where things sit.
You can take any anatomical part and show any of it. You can move it around, you can make it kind of translucent so you can see through the outside, and that really helped me understand how cardiac anatomy worked. I actually had a moment where I found the aortic valve, and it was the first time that I'd actually seen the aortic valve in relation to all the other anatomical structures. It was a way of seeing it that you couldn't do with an actual heart.
I think this will improve students' confidence in learning anatomy dramatically.
By creating simulations with the HoloLens that lets them have an experience where they can fail, that would be the best way to learn, because we don't allow people to fail too much in real-life medicine.
With HoloLens, you could imagine having a class standing around a model, almost like a tour group in a museum, where they're all interacting completely naturally. I spend a huge amount of time to make sure they become the best professionals, because it's all of our jobs to make the world a better place.
Working with Case Western Reserve University to create this paradigm shift so that we can leap together with students into the future of education.